Hello everyone, welcome to IASbaba. Today we discuss the internal security questions. Chari to have, but we can say the easiest part of UPSC mains, the internal security part, because most of the questions they revolve around some 4 to 5 themes. So usme terrorism have, Naxalism have, then the border security have, cyber security have. So if you have made proper notes on these 5 to 6 themes with case studies, with statistics, with examples, so you can write a very good value added answers. Yes, and say if one challenge we get when the syllabus is easy is like everyone writes. कि ऐसा नहीं कि हम अकेले हैं जो 10th पास करके आए हैं. So all of them they are say well versed in writing. So that is why they give tough competition. That is why, like in GS3 especially, so when we were writing mains, GS3 used to get very good marks. Like GS3 used to get 135. So one girl, she was from economic optionals, I guess. She fetched 135 in 2019 mains. Yes, likewise. So these are say the papers which are very easy, like the syllabus, economy, agriculture or science and tech, all these. If you have made proper notes from current affairs, you can write them very well. And the question paper will also be easy, but the evaluation has become bit strict. So because of normalization or whatever UPSC does, so hardly someone scores above 100 in GS3. So 95, 98, so is a good range of marks here. And I have seen marks as low as 65, 60s, etc. So why the problem when the question paper is easy? So UPSC might demand a power packed answer. So with good facts, statistics, value additions, some graphs, so or some pie charts, etc. So those value additions are actually fetching the marks. If you just give the bare minimum, okay, ha ye answer hai, so le le. So that should not be the correct attitude. So if there are students who give that, sir or ma'am, so this is my answer, a neat, well presented, and it shows that the candidate has worked hard. So in that answer, yes, so that answers will actually fetch marks in GS3 when the paper is easy and when all students they write good answers. So we will try our own facts, examples and value additions in these 4 questions. Yes, now first one, terrorism. So terrorism is a global scourge. It has, how has it been manifested in India? How has terrorism manifested in India? And elaborate with contemporary examples. What are the countermeasures adopted by the state? So especially the context is of India, so Indian state. Explain. So the question is self-structured. You need not to go for structuring separately as like you write ethics answer. So now, so if this is the assertion, so this will be taken care by the introduction how terrorism is a global scourge. So it is a global threat or phenomenon. So how has it been manifested? First demand of the question. So elaborate with contemporary examples, elaborate this one, and countermeasures to be adopted. Second demand of the question. Yes, likewise. So the same way I have put the headings. Now introduction. So what is terrorism? So define terrorism at your own words, in your own words, so that say if, like it would be easy for an introduction. And if you are going for a good introduction or say some value added introductions, so I have a quote, terrorism is the tactic of demanding impossible and demanding it at the gunpoint. So if asking something which is impossible at the gunpoint. Yes, likewise. So keeping gunpoint and asking give me 2 kidneys. So not possible. Yes, so hospital to leke jao कि काट के दे देंगे. Yes, likewise. Now say after a brief definition you can use quote, you can use jargon, etc. So this is one of a quote. So but I didn't bring the name because, so let it be say bit realistic. So let us not make the discussion class a copy paste one. Yes, likewise. So let us bring the points from our own vocabulary and write them. Yes, likewise. Then manifestation of terrorism in India. So here what all terrorist activities happened. So we can give the examples like the 2025 Pahalgam attack, all of you have know. So Riyasi attack, again you know. Yes, so then Pulwama and Uri strike. So these are a bit older ones, but if you know the air strike of India and surgical strike, so this was the Uri attack which got the response through surgical strike from government of India. So, and for Pulwama attack, it was an airstrike. So if you know these two, so these are famous attacks. So we can write these examples. And so here is a map of India. Here you can show how all the terrorism is manifesting in India. So here you can say the Jammu and Kashmir, say terror attack from Pakistan, and here you can show Babar Khalsa and so Khalistan agents, and here you can show LTTE. So a simple map. So you can, yes, Pakistan, Babar Khalsa, yes, and so to some extent northeastern insurgents. So some graphical representation if you do, so you will get some good marks, some additional marks. So this is where the competition lies. So it is not like someone will get 0 and others will get 10 out of 10. So it is that people who write bare minimum, they get so 3.54 marks, and people who give the best, so they get 5.5 marks. So that half 1 mark is the true competition. Yes, likewise. Now, so we have done the first part. Second part, countermeasures adopted by the state. So what all measures government of India has adopted? So first, use of force. So we have gone through surgical strikes, air strikes, and then the Operation Sindoor we have done. So these are some examples of how we try to curb terrorism through force. And second is diplomacy. So like we have been advocating diplomacy, and we have been urging for the Convention of International Terrorism. So UN Convention for Combating International Terrorism, so CCIT. So this is so one area where we are trying diplomatically to curb terrorism. Then we have set up various institutes like say UAPF, then National Investigation Agency for investigating terror activities, NatGrid for intelligence. Yes, so and we have anti-terror squad, so separate squad being trained for combating terrorism. So all those, yes, likewise. And to curb the infiltration of terrorists, so we have the border security. So under the CIBMS, the comprehensive, the integrated border management system, so we are trying, and we have brought some of the technological equipments and upgradation of technology at the borders through this bolt pit scheme. Yes, so this is one project where so we are using the QRT technologies in the borders. Yes, likewise. So quick recognition technologies. Yes, likewise. Then education. So in education we have the anti-radicalization drives, social media campaigns, and so people who are hit by terror activities, so they are being say cajoled or convinced, so through various activities like Watan Ko Jano programs. So how to cajole them, how to convince them, like so show them the places of India and make sure that they feel themselves as comfortable in India. Yes, so they should not feel alienated in India. They should feel themselves as espoused in India. They should feel that Indians are espousing them, and say they feel a sense of awareness, not alienness. Yes, likewise. So these are some of the points to countermeasures. I have say categorized on these lines so that it looks better, because when you have good amount of points, so better structure properly. And conclusion with the quote, so with guns you can kill terrorists. Yes, with education you can kill terrorism. So Malala Yousafzai's quote, so we can end. So give the best, and so as I said, like try to gain the maximum marks of examiner's full bounty. Yes, if examiner has 5.5 in his brain as maximum, so take all of them. Yes, likewise. Then come to next one. Government of India recently stated that left-wing extremism will be eliminated. Yes, by 2026. Home Ministry has given a statement in Press Information Bureau also. Then, so what do you understand by left-wing extremism and how are people affected by it? Yes, so that means we have a sense of hope in this question that we are going to say abolish, or we are going to finish off, eliminate left-wing extremism by 2026. And so then goes the question. So question says, so what do you understand by this? So understanding goes first, and then and then how are people affected. So the negative effects or effects of Naxalism on people and what measures to be taken. Yes, again it is self-structured. Yes, so now say introduce with what is Naxalism. Left-wing extremism or Naxalism started in 1967. So in the Naxalbari village, so it was basically against the zamindari system, and so for aggressive land reforms, it demanded aggressive land reforms. So we have a statistic. Currently there are 38 red corridor districts in 9 states, so as against 96 districts in 2010. That means in the past 15 years we have significantly reduced, yes, the number of red corridor districts or number of districts so hit by the left-wing extremism. Yes, likewise. And so even then there are Naxal attacks going on, say in Bijapur district of Chhattisgarh. So there are Naxal attacks. Indravati forests clash recently in 2025 February it has happened. So use your current affairs and give some latest examples of Naxal attacks. Yes, Naxal clashes. Yes, likewise. Then effect of left-wing extremism on people. So usually the causes, consequences will be there in your notes. So this part you have to write on your own. So just imagine, go to Naxal area and imagine what can be the effects. So if there is a Naxalite area, so their displacement and marginalization of common people. So common people who don't want to pick up the arms and neither say they can live in those stressful areas. So they migrate, out migration. So that happens. Then threat of security forces under AFSPA. So now security forces have been given extreme powers. So they can fire at their own will and wish at any point of time. So at any place. So again that is a threat. So people fear both the Naxalites who have the guns and the uniformed people who have say better guns. Then common people suspected as being informers. So this is a double whammy created. So now say the people, common people, they are being crushed from both the sides. So saying that, so being suspected as the informers. So Naxal feels so that this person is informing the police and police feel that this person is informing the Naxalites. So from both the sides that pressure is crunching them. So in both the top and bottom. Yes, likewise. So they are being sandwiched. So between the Naxalites and the police people. And there is suspicion from both the sides. Then, so native people deprived of welfare schemes and developmental activities. So earlier it used to happen that whenever Naxalites say they see any schools constructed in their areas, they used to blow them off. They used to bomb it off because say they felt that this schools set up by the government is preaching capitalism. So they are not preaching communism as such. Yes, likewise. So now say when the schools are blown off and when it is difficult for the government to implement the welfare schemes there, so obviously those areas will be deprived of welfare schemes and other infrastructural developmental activities. So schools, colleges, hospitals, PHCs, primary health centers, skill development centers, so all these will be difficult to set up in those areas. And so the schemes will be implemented in a slow pace compared to others. Yes, I have expressed them in a crisp format in just some 10 to 11 words, more than enough. Just likewise. Then coming to measures. So measures, we have separate battalions being set up, say commando battalion for resolute action, Cobra. We have greyhounds, so that is say for conducting operation green hunt, and also we have other operations like operation steeplechase, etc. being conducted. So use of force. Then diplomacy, Samadhan scheme. So we have the whole abbreviation of Samadhan, we need not write that, just Samadhan scheme in capital. Then Naxal rehabilitation schemes. So if Naxals are willing to give up their arms and surrender, so we are facilitating them. And also say in Mitanin district of Chhattisgarh, so there has been highest rehabilitation of Naxals. So you can give that example, Mitanin example. And so some districts there is Naxal cafe. What is Naxal cafe, friends? Here it is, like one cafe will be set up, or we will fix one cafe wherein if any Naxal wants to surrender, he will come to that cafe and drink coffee. If he is coming to that cafe, it is akin that, so he is showing some indications of surrendering. Yes, likewise. So such elements have been taken up from the officers by their own creativity. So write them as the case studies. So get good marks from them. So don't just write the bookish answer. So give your own value additions. Then developmental activities like maternity wards. So we have seen that whenever government constructs a school, Naxalites will blow it off. But if you construct a maternity ward, they won't blow, because these maternity wards, they facilitate a healthy birth being given to their own children. Yes, so when their own children are born healthy in the maternity wards, so Naxals, they don't blow it off. Then we have also set up Ekalavya model residential schools, Kasturiba Balika Vidyalayas. So all these, say, they are helping in providing education. Yes, likewise. Then, so education and awareness, we have civic action programs, wherein like awareness programs. So through radios, we are sending education and awareness programs to shun Naxalism, not to pick up the arms, so not to take up the laws in their own hands and come out and join the mainstream. Yes, likewise. So this is body, and in the conclusion, so I have a jargon. Naxalism should be tackled not by the strong fist, but by the sharp wits. So we have to make sure that you use your brain, don't use your hand. So don't curb with the iron hand. So but go with WHAM approach. WHAM, WHAM, winning hearts and minds. So again, a famous jargon. So I need not explain them for you. Say such conclusions, value-added conclusions, will fetch some good marks. Yes, then third one, coming to 15-mark questions. There were 2 10-mark and 2 15-mark questions in internal security. So now third one, what are the major challenges to the internal security and peace process in the northeastern states? So overall in the northeast, what are the major challenges? Then map the various peace accords and agreements initiated by government in the past decade. So that means give a overall view of the accords. So how many accords have been signed? What was the effect of those accords? So mapping. And friends, if you see the fact behind this, so there have been some 14 accords which have been signed. So Home Ministry gives some 14 accords which have been signed, and I don't think like you have to write all the 14 here. So just write some 6 or 5, say, and describe them, what happened actually in those. Yes, likewise. So that is more than enough, and we can say this was bit factual question, this was bit challenging. Yes, likewise. Now we will try attempting this question. So northeastern states have been negotiating several issues. So starting from the Treaty of Yandabo 1826. So from there, when India got the northeastern territory from Burma, so from then the treaties negotiations are being going on. Yes, likewise. Now what are the challenges? So some challenges, so this part you can answer, like demand for the greater states. So we have Greater Nagalim. Yes, National Socialist Council of Nagalim. So they are asking for Greater Nagalim. Yes, and so Greater Tripura land. Yes, likewise. You can represent these in a map of northeast. So just draw one map of northeast. Yes, you can represent some Greater Nagalim somewhere here. So you can represent Greater Tripura land somewhere here. Yes, like this. So some crude map you can draw it. So almost, say, if you can mention the Manipur, the cookies and Mighties issue, and here somewhere, so Assam and Mizoram, they have border disputes. So in that Kachar Hills, so Karbi Anglong, so there, so the border disputes happened some 2 years back. So those you can write some brief representation of issues whatever is going on. Yes, likewise. And say in Arunachal we have border disputes with China. So you can show this border disputes with China. Yes, so don't write only China. Yes, border disputes with China. Likewise. So some representation so that you can say fetch some half a mark or 1 mark from the examiner's bounty, examiner's basket. Yes, likewise. So then tribal and sectarian clashes. So Mighties and cookies going on recently, and then border clashes. So Assam, Mizoram, so Manipur, they have this Kachar Hills. so Kachar Hills and Lushai Hills, so in that region, so that tripartite struggle so goes on between so these three states. And illegal migrants, friends, Chakmas and Hajongs, so these tribes, they came from Bangladesh and later they were being rehabilitated to India and they were being rehabilitated at Arunachal Pradesh. So there also we can write, so these, when the external tribes come, so that is also a problem for the northeast because the resource crunch will always be there. Yes, the same is going on with the Rohingyas. Yes, likewise. So now the peace accords of the past decades. So some of the peace accords I have brought here, but in the exam hall, if you don't remember what are the peace accords have been signed, so you can give first one, the Ravi Muiva Accord, anyway you will give. Yes, so Ravi Muiva Accord. Then so you can also give so the accords of Assam Accord with the Assam Students Union, so that you can give. Yes, so whatever say bare minimum you have, you can give it here, so not an issue. But so if you have really read, so we can give the authenticated ones. So in the past, very past decade, so we start from 2019. So here we have the National Liberation Front of Tripura, the National Liberation Front of Tripura. So they signed a memorandum of settlement, MOS, memorandum of settlement, and in that some 88 cadres, so they surrendered with 44 arms and they said that we will disband this NLFT. Yes, so this was so one treaty. So wherever the treaty, memorandum of settlement happens, so that usually comes with surrender of the insurgents and surrendering of weapons and disbanding of so those violent organizations. Yes, likewise. So that is a good sense because that is a good indication because government is so say trying to make peace with them. So that is the indication. Yes, then we have Bru agreement in 2020. So this Bru agreement with the Bru tribes or the Riang tribes. So Riang is another name for this Bru. And so here also that came with say the financial assistance package for the Bru families in Tripura. So some 600 crores of package was given for their peaceful settlement. Yes, likewise, because friends, like once they agree to give up their arms and settle, so finance is needed so for their livelihood and for taking care of family, etc. Then Bodo Peace Accord, so for Bodo groups of Assam. So here also like the National Democratic Front of Bodoland, so they have also say signed one accord. So likewise, then Karbi Peace Accord with the Karbi Anglong people, the Karbi groups. So here more than 1,000 armed cadres, so they have surrendered their arms and they have say surrendered themselves and they have say agreed to abjure violence and join the mainstream society. Then we have DNLAF, that is Dimasa National Liberation Army. So they have also agreed to shun insurgency in the Dima Hasao district of Assam. Yes, likewise. So these are some of the examples you can quote. So if not say in the real time, whatever you have you can give, and out of these, so if you are in current affairs, at least one or two you can recall. Yes, likewise. Then lastly, so government is also negotiating the settlement between Meiteis and Kukis. So both the teams, they have say taken up their own grievances so to the central government, and soon that will also be done enough. Yes, likewise. So these are some of the points. Then coming to next question, why is maritime security vital to protect India's trade? So first part of question, why it is vital, and second, discuss maritime and coastal security challenges, and so put the way forward also. So auto structured by the examiner himself, we need not worry. Then introduction, India has 7,000 km of coastline. So say hence proper visual and check is necessary to protect that or to protect from several threats. Yes, likewise. So a small fact and introduction we can put here, or you can write any of the latest security threat so that has happened in the recent times. Yes, likewise. So you can say like say if the wildlife trafficking of sea cucumber had happened recently, or so good amount of say drugs, cocaine was available in the coasts of Arabian Sea recently. So all those examples you can write it here. Yes. So then maritime security is vital because, so I am answering the first one, because Indian economy so is mainly dependent on the sea routes. Yes. So like say over 70% of trade by value and 95% of trade by volume so goes through the sea. So this is a famous fact, so everybody writes that, so you should also put these. Yes, so famous statistics. Yes, likewise. And also India has good amount of offshore oil wells so in the Arabian Sea, so that is why it is important. So it is important to secure our say the sea routes and coastal areas. And also India is going for the mining of polymetallic nodules in the Indian Ocean. So there also again we require the security of maritime areas. Then challenges. So what are the threats we have? So threat to sovereignty like say maritime silk route, string of pearls, or might be naval bases set up by China of Gwadar ports. So all those we can write in here. And taking up of Sri Lanka's Hambantota port, all those. Then so maritime border disputes. So we have disputes with Palk Strait, so with Sri Lanka, and Sir Creek with Pakistan. So all those we can write. So easy question. Then illegal fishing or say cross border fishing, say that is also a security threat. And also some unsustainable fishing activities like the bottom trawling, so that can also trigger clashes between the neighboring nations. Yes, then drug trafficking. Friends, as we are very much near to Golden Crescent and Golden Triangle, so that drug trafficking is also say at the top. Yes, so we have seen like in the movie industry, in all movie industries of India, Bollywood, Collywood, Tollywood, etc. So we have the drug being trafficked. Then so wildlife trafficking. Friends, sea cucumbers, as we spoke, sea cucumbers, sea anemones, so these are highly trafficked sea animals. Yes, likewise. So some of the precious say oysters are also being trafficked, so for high cost. Yes, likewise. Then coming to other say natural threats like disasters, tsunamis, cyclones, and submergence of the coastal areas. Say if after tsunami, the Indonesia's famous city Banda Aceh, so it got submerged, so that is also a threat. Yes, then so climate change issues like coastal erosion or immigration of environmental refugees, and say how to legalize them or whether to deport them, so that is again an issue. And also the global sea level rise and submergence of the coastal areas. So some of the island nations like Jakarta got submerged, so likewise, so such environmental issues. Then come to measures. So measures, we begin with training and capacity building of the security personnel. It might be the Navy, it might be the Coast Guards, it might be the Marine Police. So we have to have better training and capacity building. Their technology should be upgraded. So they has to make sure they will coordinate with say various satellite communication equipments, buoys, so that is the sensors which are kept on the oceans. So they have to be tech savvy and also say having the upgraded skills. Yes, likewise. Then the technological upgradation like your coastal surveillance network, so launching of say satellites for ocean sats, so for better surveillance, and inclusion of geographical information system, and also NAVIC is been extended for the fishermen, so all those. So coastal upgradation with the technologies. Then better coordination. So here we have Navy on the one side, so Fisheries Department on the other side. Say if we have Ports Department on the other side, intelligence gathering, so we have to have better coordination amongst them. And international collaboration, like we have Indian Ocean Rim Association, BIMSTEC. So we should have better coordination so that some security disputes can be settled peacefully. Then so allegiance for United Nations Convention for Law of Seas, so that should also be required. And lastly, so developmental projects, so implementation of coastal regulation zone rules, CRZ rules, and so demarcation of coasts as per the CRZs, and also like say better administration in the coastal areas. Yes, so that also requires so good acumen. Yes, likewise. Then lastly, our Prime Minister's Sagar concept, that is security and augmented growth for all. So that also say we can write here. Yes, likewise. So these are the 4 questions, easy questions, and I hope at least for the 3 questions, so you have given the best, and I again wish all the best for your results. Thank you. Good luck friends.